heavily as well, and she's going to get some of that experience this year to make her a better player next year. So we're happy with her. And then Chloe Swan, who is a junior, is our backup post player. Chloe's just continuing to improve. Chloe's not a starter right now, but she's there every day. She's there every day in the summer. She doesn't miss workouts. She's just been a loyal kid to the program, and because of that, she's going to figure in and get some playing time this year as well. I think, that's pretty much the top ones. That's certainly the ones that played the other night, and I can see maybe a couple other kids, creeping into the mix as we go on here. But right now, that's kind of the core 8 or 9 that we're going with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one other person I want to mention, one of your former players, Kate Bushue, is not playing basketball this year. She just got a scholarship to run cross country in college at Eastern Illinois University. I know that you're happy for her, but that's one person you're missing on the court this year. But she's a good athlete, and she's doing what she's really blessed to do. She got that God-given ability to run, doesn't she?
Well, she sure does, and she also has the God-given unique desire to run.
Yeah.
And I think the ability to run everybody has, maybe not as well as her, but the desire to want to run as much as she does is truly remarkable. Randy, you know this. These cross-country kids are a different breed.
Yeah.
These kids warm up with 5 miles. We think about that. I mean, we run a mile in my PE classes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, we got kids, just the average, regular education student running a mile. I mean, it's work.
Yeah.
It's work. And,
right.
and these kids go out and they'll warm up. A light day for them might be 5 miles. And if they go 10, that's nothing. I mean, I see Kate running around Summersville in a driving rainstorm. It could be raining and 40 degrees, and there's Kate out running in a raincoat. It's truly remarkable, the mentality that they have, and you know what? She's been rewarded for that uniqueness and that drive, and that whatever that specialness is, from a mental standpoint, that drives those kids, because that's got to be one of the most painful things in the world to do, is run distance. And in this day and age, with the social aspect of our computers and our cell phones and our iPads and our video games, a lot more kids kind of fall into that and just say it's just much easier to stay home or stay inside and play my video game.
Mm-hmm.
Kate's not like that. Kate's been a kid who's kind of bypassed all that and worked very hard, at a very painful thing and become very good at it. So I don't hold any bitterness or animosity toward her at all. She's got to do what she's got to do. Do I wish that she was on our basketball team? You better believe it. But do I understand? Yeah, I get it. I kind of understand, and she's just a wonderful representative of our high school in general, the classroom, and how she carries herself and all the things that you want kids to be. So, I wish nothing but the best for her, and I think she's going to be great at the college level in our cross country.
Mm-hmm. Well, real quick, give us a rundown again of your pairings in the tournament next week and who you play when, so fans will know.
We play Oakville on Monday night at Nashville, and then we play Benton on Tuesday night at Nashville, and then we play Westclin on Saturday. I believe that's at noon. I'm not giving you times because I don't have the schedule in front.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe you can go on our website and see it there. But anyway, we play Westclin at early game on Saturday, and then it's pool play, so it's Saturday night's kind of your championship round. They match records. The best 2 teams out of each pool play for the title, and
right.
They'll go down the line for 3rd, 5th, and 7th, and depending on your record in your first 3 games. So, and that's always a good tournament. We enjoy that. We enjoy going over there. The travel is easy for us. It's not like we're taking off and going, somewhere across over to the metro area or whatever. It's Nashville's a pretty good, nice little drive for us. And Coach Hari's always very entertaining and does a good job with us, and he always has good food, and there's always some good homemade meatballs and chicken wings and all that in the hospitality room, and we have a home there, I think, for a while.
Yeah.
I just think that the tournament is pretty competitive. It's got a good diversity of group in there. You got a 4A in there in Collinsville, and yet you have a top, perennially top 1A team in there with Oakville.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have kind of us there in the middle, and then you've got a Benton who won them. They've been lights out for 4 years. They've been unbelievable. And then, Nashville, they're just Nashville. They just continue to roll along and do what they do. Probably if you had one program in the girls basketball in Southern Illinois to model yourself after, that'd be the one.
Mm-hmm.
Just due to their success and state title a couple years ago, and so I like the diversity of that tournament a lot, and I like the people that run it even more. So we're excited to go there.
Yeah. Well, Jeff, thanks so much for joining us on the Sports Couch this morning. We appreciate the preview here of your Lady Rams, and we wish you luck next week at the tournament at Nashville. Okay.
Randy, I appreciate you calling. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Have yourself a good weekend. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Take care. All righty. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Head coach Jeff Lon of the Mount Vernon Lady Rams. They lost a tough one by 2 points the other night at home at new Mount Vernon High School gym as they were beaten by Harrisburg. But they'll get into action, and you heard the schedule coming up. Tough schedule at that Nashville tournament coming up this week for the Mount Vernon Lady Rams, and we wish them luck as they prepare for that tournament. When we come back, we're going to talk about another girls program, and that is the Weber Township Lady Trojans. We'll talk to Rick Hayes coming up next as the Sports Couch continues. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9, The Vine, and AreaSports.net.
This is your home for best Christian music.
WVYN, Blueford, Wayne City, Fairfield, Mount Vernon.
And now on Translator, W288CO Centralia, broadcasting at 105.5.
A service of Real Life Radio Foundation.
The best Christian music, 90.9 The Vine.
Prominent Technologies in McLeansboro is an underwriting supporter of The Vine. Chad May and Prominent Technologies specialize in computer and laptop repair, IT system upgrades, virus protection software, digital security camera installation, and on-location consulting. Prominent Technologies are computer problem solvers, and they have a long list of satisfied customers. Their phone number is 643-7114, and they are located just north of the square in McLeansboro.
You've heard the old saying, practice makes perfect. Well, there's actually a lot of truth to that, and you can get one-on-one instruction in baseball, softball, basketball, as well as speed and agility drills at the Sports Zone in Fairfield. The Sports Zone has been in business for quite some time now and has helped many area boy and girl athletes excel in their sport of choice. Lessons and practice times are available at convenient times that meet your schedule. The Sports Zone is located on Delaware Street in Fairfield, and we appreciate their support.
Music and ministry on The Vine is provided by Tony Wilt State Farm Insurance Agency in Mount Vernon. Tony Wilt State Farm Insurance Agency specializes in providing your life, health, auto, and home insurance, as well as complete financial services. They are located at 4121 South Water Tower Place in Mount Vernon. Their phone number is 242-1421, and their website is tonywilt.com. We are grateful for their underwriting support.
And welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. We have live video streaming at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson live in studio. Danny Anselman not with us this morning. He is on assignment, but hopefully be back next week. We are previewing a lot of the high school basketball teams around the area this morning, and I want to talk about another one of the girls' programs right now, and that would be the Weber Township Lady Trojans. Joining us on the phone is the head coach, Rick Hayes. Good morning, Rick. How are you?
Good morning, Randy. Doing well.
Good to have you on the Sports Couch, and your Lady Trojans have already got a couple games under the belt, don't you?
Yeah, we opened up with down at Ziegler Royalton on Monday night, kind of bumped that game up from later in the season. So we had a couple weeks to get everything in as much as we could anyway, and went down and played Ziegler, and then we played, started off the conference, schedule already Thursday night at Wayne City, and dropped a heartbreaker over there. We started out really well in that first quarter and kind of ran out of gas, I guess. Wheels kind of fell off for us. But, 2 games on our belt, 1-1 so far.
Yeah, okay. Well, for those people watching our live video stream on AreaSports.net, I've got a team picture of your squad up on the screen right now. So why don't you run through your roster with us this year and introduce us to some of the ladies that are playing for you this year.
All right. We got 13 girls again this year, same amount as I had last year. And with a smaller school, it's always an issue with numbers, but we will field a JV and a varsity team this year with those 13 girls. And 10 out of my 13 this year are freshmen and sophomores, so we're a young squad. So just really looking for some leadership. We've got 1 senior and 2 juniors, and the rest are fresh soph. So just looking for some leadership out of my senior, and then anybody else that's going to be stepping up, as a leader in the program. But Emma Mosier comes back, leads us on the offensive end. She's a sophomore. She was first-team all-conference last year as a freshman. Callie Wilkie is back and healthy after a couple of years of some foot problems where she got to play 10 games each year, and then we had to shut her down, but finally got some second opinions and third opinions and got her fixed up and had some surgery on her foot. She's healthy, and one of our guards, outside shooters. Abby Potter's our senior, kind of the heart of our team as far as the hustle on both ends of the floor goes, and encouragement, just a good encourager and a leader for the girls. And then Hannah Hammerski plays post for us, undersized in the post, but she'll work as hard as anybody else down there. She's a sophomore. And Brooke Cash and Kenzie Hutchison. Brooke's a sophomore, comes off the bench for us, and Kenzie's another guard that starts for us, a junior. And then we've got some freshmen that we've thrown in the mix a little bit here, getting their feet wet. And that's the good thing about, like Coach Lennon said, the basketball is a marathon and not a sprint. So being a young team, it gives us a lot of chance here early in the season just to get these girls in there, to get them some experience that will hopefully pay off towards the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. And what's next on the schedule for your Lady Trojans?
We've got into the Hamilton County Lady Foxes basketball tournament next week. It's our first year being in that. Looking forward to playing some tougher competition in bigger schools. So we open up Monday at 7 o'clock versus Pinckneyville, and Tuesday night we play at 5:30 versus Lawrenceville. And we got a couple days off there for the holiday, and then Friday we come back and play Galatia at 7, and Saturday we play Hamilton County at 9:30, and back to see Wayne City again at 5 o'clock that night on Saturday.
Yeah, that's really good competition in that tournament. It's loaded, and you're going to find out a lot about your girls during that tournament, aren't you?
Definitely. Again, being a young squad, I'm sure there's going to be some growing pains, but there's nothing that prepares you more for the regional side of things towards the end of the year than playing these bigger schools and tougher competition and making your girls realize what kind of work they've got to put in and what kind of team they want to be by seeing these other teams and playing these teams.
Yeah. Well, the great thing is you don't have to travel very far either. It's right there, right next door,
Exactly. When we were looking for, tournaments to get in, when I first called, they said they were full, but if they had somebody back out, or get out of it, they let us know. And being close to Blueford, that's a really good spot for us to get in and see some good competition and be close to home. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, as you size up the Midland Trail Conference this year, what are you looking for?
There's definitely some quality teams. It may only be a 5-team conference, but it's pretty loaded with some quality basketball teams. Of course, Christ-Our Rock replacing North Clay this year is probably going to be, heads and tails above the rest, and we'll all be chasing them. Wayne City, as we saw Thursday night, they never quit and were able to come back on us and take care of business at home. And then Woodlawn, of course, after the run they had and bringing a lot of those players back, you look for them to be at the top also. And Sandoble's got a new coach and trying to get things going in the right direction there. So from top to bottom, just a pretty competitive conference.
Yeah, sure will be. Well, I got to give you a chance to gloat a little bit about your Chicago Cubs. I know that you are, like all other Cub fans, just absolutely thrilled. First time in your lifetime to see a world championship. And so have you come down off the mountain yet on that?
No, I never will.
Yeah.
I'm only 39, but for those 39 years, I've had to take it every year from the Cardinal fans and everybody else about the lovable losers. So it's just nice to get that word. It still doesn't seem real to me, really, actually. Mm-hmm. But it was, and it happened, and I'm excited about it.
Well, you've got a Cardinal fan living under your roof, though, don't you?
Yeah, 3 of them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
She's kind of swayed the kids to her side, so it's 1 against 3 in our house, but I got to, gloat a little bit and be above the rest of them. And she was a good sport this year.
Yeah.
So she was on board with me and happy for me, so.
Well, I'm happy for all the Cub fans, too, including you. And the only thing is, though, we're going to limit you to one. We don't need any back-to-back stuff, all right? No back-to-back titles.
We'll see what happens. That'd be nice.
Actually, in all seriousness, I mean, the Cubs are going to be there for quite a while. I think with the young talent they got, they're going to be in the mix. Barring injury, they're going to be in the mix for quite a while.
Yeah, they've set themselves up well to be competitive for a few years here, so we'll see what happens.
And that just makes the rivalry between the Cardinals and Cubs that much more fun, I think, really.
Oh, yeah. When both teams are playing well and playing good baseball, it makes for good games.
Yeah. Out of your game the other night, did everybody come out healthy for your Lady Trojans?
Yeah, we had a couple people banged up a little bit, but overall pretty healthy. It was a good game, and they're always. I started last year at Weber. It seems like every game between us and Wayne City is a battle down to the end. And like I said, we came out on fire, and Coach Dag told me after the game, she goes, "I didn't think you guys were going to miss after that first quarter." So, unfortunately, the offense kind of stopped for us after that. And being at their place and their crowd, we kind of let them back in the fourth quarter, and then they went with it, and we weren't able to turn the tides there.
Mm-hmm. So for those fans who would like to see your Lady Trojans play this week down at the tournament at McLeansboro, give us again a rundown of when you'll play coming up.
Monday night is 7 o'clock versus Pinckneyville again.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday is 5:30 versus Lawrenceville. And take a couple days off, come back on Friday, play at 7 o'clock versus Galatia, and then 2 games on Saturday, 9:30 versus Hamilton County, and 5 o'clock versus Wayne City.
Yeah, all right. Well, Rick, we appreciate you joining us this morning on the Sports Couch, and best of luck to you and your Weber Lady Trojans as you prepare for that tournament at McLeansboro next week, all right?
Well, I appreciate you having me on, Randy.
You bet. We'll talk to you down the line, all right?
Thanks,
right, appreciate it. Okay, bye-bye. That is head coach Rick Hayes, the Weber Township Lady Trojans. They're off to a 1-1 start on the season. Had a nail-biter with Wayne City the other night. They'll face Wayne City again, too, coming up among other teams that they'll face. Pinckneyville, Lawrenceville, some real good competition down there at the Hamilton County Invitational Thanksgiving Tournament. It starts tomorrow night. And so, again, if you see some basketball, there's a lot of it going around, both boys and girls basketball in our area for tomorrow night. Stick around. We're going to come back and talk to head coach Brian Gamber of the Woodlawn Cardinals. He's the new head coach this year. We'll talk about how the Cardinals look heading into the season. That and more on the way next as the Sports Couch continues.
The local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Amy's Sweet Gallery in downtown Fairfield serves top-of-the-line cookies, cupcakes, cakes, rolls, and more delicious home-baked goodies for your family, church, business, wedding, holidays, birthdays, you name it. Amy's Sweet Gallery uses third-generation secret family recipes with a hint of love in every bite. Amy's Sweet Gallery is located at 108 East Main in Fairfield, and their phone number is 842-3754, and their website is amysweetgallery.com. A scoop, a pinch, a dash, and a drop. Homemade goodness with just one stop. Amy's Sweet Gallery in Fairfield.
This is Jeff Zerlini, and I'm a Fairfield Memorial Hospital physical therapy patient. I have been working with the therapist and have gained momentum in overcoming osteoarthritis in my knees. During my physical therapy sessions at Fairfield Memorial Hospital, I improved the quality of movement in my knees, strengthened my muscles, as well as lost weight, which is something I had not done in many years. While spending time under their care, I witnessed firsthand hearts of pure gold in action. I believe the therapy team at Fairfield Memorial Hospital has extraordinary talent, and I greatly appreciate them using their expertise to help me overcome my limitations.
Crawford Plumbing, LLC in Woodlawn is licensed, bonded, insured, and ready to serve your household and business plumbing needs. From leaky faucets to complete plumbing systems and repair, Crawford Plumbing in Woodlawn is a full-service plumbing company. They can be reached at 618-242-3360. Crawford Plumbing in Woodlawn is a proud underwriting sponsor of Real Life Radio.
And welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. Live video streaming at AreaSports.net, live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio. Flying solo this morning. Danny is out of town on assignment. He'll be back again next week. And we are previewing, of course, a lot of the area high school basketball teams this morning, both boys and girls. And let's switch back over to the Midland Trail Conference and one of the boys' teams. And we'll talk to new head basketball coach of the Woodlawn Cardinals. That's Brian Gamber. Brian, how are you this morning?
Good, guys. How are you?
Great. Good to have you on the sports couch. And, boy, some big shoes to fill for you out there at Woodlawn. But you know what? You've been there for a few years. You've really been ingrained within the program already. And, of course, you had tremendous success last year going to Peoria. And winning is just a great tradition out there at Woodlawn, and you're hoping to carry that on, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, it's a great program. Coach Whistle, what he has done speaks for itself. He's a tremendous coach. He's a tremendous person. And he's got this program rolling in the right direction. And on top of everything he does, we just have really good kids. We have kids that like to play and they like to compete. And all those things have really, got us to the point that we have been in the last several years. So it's a new year. I mean, obviously, I think our kids are excited. I'm really excited. The last 2 years being an assistant here has been, it's been great being able to be around Coach Witzel and our guys. It has made the transition very easy for them as well as for myself. It's a new group. Like you said, the team we had last year was extremely successful. It was a group that had played together for a long time. 4 or 5 starters are gone, so now we have to kind of readjust some things, and we're a different team. We don't have the size. We don't have the experience, but we still have a lot of really good kids, and they've put in a lot of work, and I think they're ready to roll. And we got one more week of practice to get us ready for the Carlisle tournament, which is going to be a good test right out of the gate.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that Carlisle tournament here in just a moment, but I also want to talk about a couple of assistant coaches that you've got, because they're former players there at Woodlawn that also had a lot of success as players, and, of course, one of them in college, and it's going to be great to have those two guys alongside of you, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Our two assistant coaches are Christian Hollenkamp and Dawson Verheim. Both are just extremely good individuals. And on top of that, very, very good basketball players. So they played here. They played for Coach Witzel. They know the tradition. They know what it takes to compete at a high level and to be successful. So to have both of them on board is huge for me. I think most head coaches would tell you that one of the most important things that you can have is good assistant coaches, and I definitely have two very, very good assistants in them. So they're excited. They're kind of getting their feet wet with the whole coaching aspect of it, and they're learning a lot of things on the fly, which is good. But their energy and excitement and just enthusiasm for the game is a huge part of being an assistant. They definitely have that. So we're excited to have them on board. I know they are, and our kids. A lot of our kids obviously remember those guys playing, remember following them, and then. Of course, Dawson had the great career at Red Lake and moving on to SIU Carbondale. So, two really good guys. We're excited to have them, and I think I know that they're excited to be on the coaching side instead of the playing side.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's give you a chance to kind of run through your roster right now and just talk about all the guys that are coming back and who you're working with this year on the Cardinals.
Yeah, I think it obviously starts with Blake Wallerman. Wallerman will be the one starter returning from last year's team. This year will be his third year starting. He's got a lot of experience. He's played in big games. He's just, he's a hard-nosed, tough kid. He does a lot of the things that I think coaches really like just because he is so tough and he just goes at it. He competes hard every day. Caden DeVore is a kid that he moved in last year as a sophomore from Centralia. And we're going to count on him a lot this year. He has had a really good off-season, a really good preseason, very smart kid, has been able to pick up a lot of things quickly and can really shoot the basketball, which is good. And then Trey Isaac played a lot of big minutes for us down the stretch last year as a sophomore. He's a really good on-ball defender. He's long, he's athletic, he's quick, and now obviously his role is going to have to increase. Zach Ashby's a senior. He got hurt a little bit last year. He only played in about 14, 15 games. But he's a football kid, and he's a strong kid. He's undersized. He's going to have to guard a lot of big guys. But I think his strength will help him. And then Jordan Hoppe, same thing can be said with him. He's an undersized 5-man. He's only about 6'2", and he's going to have to play the center position for us. But I think he's a tough matchup. He can really shoot the basketball. He handles it pretty well for a big guy. His test is just going to be, can he guard a 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" kid down in the post? Because that's a big ask for him. But I think he's capable of doing that. And then, we got some guys coming off the bench, some younger kids. Jackson Bennett is just a sophomore. He's got a lot stronger, very good, just court awareness. He knows the game. He's a really tough kid. Defensively, he has improved drastically from last year as a freshman. And, he can handle it. And then Aaron Spangler is another sophomore that, probably is not ready to be thrown in the varsity action, but he probably will just because he is very basketball savvy. He's always in the right spot no matter what drill we're doing, no matter what new thing we're learning. He learns it right off the bat and just does a lot of really, really good things that don't show up in the stat sheet. And then we have a freshman. Blake McKay is going to play a lot of minutes for us varsity-wise. He is very, very skilled. He can really shoot the basketball. He handles it really well. He's a playmaker. He's an offensive player right now. Defensively is the biggest adjustment for him, and we're trying to get him up to speed for the varsity level. And there'll be times where, it is a little overwhelming for him, but his ability to score is something that not many incoming freshmen have. And I think he's going to be able to provide us some of that.
Mm-hmm. We are visiting with head coach Brian Gamber of the Woodlawn Cardinals. And, Coach, when I talk to other coaches around the Midland Trail Conference, they always say, well, until somebody takes the title away from Woodlawn, they've got to be the favorite going into the season. How do you see the Midland Trail Conference sizing up this year?
Yeah, I think it's a very, very good league this year. I know that there's a lot of teams that have a lot of experience coming back. And I think there's a lot of teams that really feel like, they could have a lot of success this year and win a lot of games. Weber has got a lot of guys coming back. Wayne City has got a lot of guys coming back. And Wayne City both those teams were both really good last year. And then you look at, a team like Waltonville. They got two move-ins that I think before the year started, if you would have said the McPhail and Wilson kid, those are two of the better players in the South in 1A. And for both of them to go there, I think obviously, that has gotten them excited because I think they're going to be very good. I think they got a lot of good pieces. So I think it's going to be a very, very tough conference. I think it's going to be difficult, which is good. I think if you would ask all the coaches, that's what you want. I mean, you want your league to be tough, quality games to help get ready for postseason. We have a really good non-conference schedule, but now the fact that our conference schedule is going to be difficult, that just makes for a tough schedule, and it's going to help us, learn to compete at that level and to continue to get better every single game. And that's what we're looking for. That's what it's going to take to have success. I think that's why we've had success in the past, because we've challenged ourselves. And it's definitely going to be a huge challenge in the conference this year.
Mm-hmm. And now let's look at that Carlisle tournament where you're going to start the season at. A lot of teams, of course, are beginning their season tomorrow night or Tuesday, but you've got a little bit of more time to work on your things offensively and defensively for your team because you don't start till the following week at Carlisle. But that's going to be a loaded tournament with a lot of competition in it.
It is. It really is. It's a very good tournament. We were lucky to be able to get in it a couple of years ago, and right out of the gate, you're gonna know pretty quick how good you are, what you need to work on, things that may be challenging you right out of the gate. I mean, we play Pinckneyville first. Pinckneyville is going to be very, very good. They got a lot of guys coming back, very well coached. Then you turn around, you play Carlisle. Carlisle is going to be as good as anybody in 2A this year. We've seen them several times this summer. And again, very well coached. And then, we finished in our pool with Greenville, which last couple of years has been a very, very successful 2A team. And they're gonna be a great challenge for us. So the other side's just as good. So, on the following Saturday when you have your crossover game, no matter where you finish in your pool, you're going to get 4 really good games in your first tournament. And Obviously, for us, I mean, we view that as a positive. I mean, we're going into it. Our goal is to prepare and to compete to win every single one of those games, and we're going to be tested, and we're going to learn from those games. And like I said, I think we got a lot of guys that don't really have a lot of varsity minutes as far as experience-wise. So, they're going to learn. They're going to get better. They're going to progress as the year goes on, and playing those high-caliber teams that are going to be well prepared. That's how you learn to play. I mean, that's how you learn to compete at that level, and it's going to teach our guys, the effort and the execution that they're going to have to have in order to be successful and to get to where we want to be.
Yeah. All right, Brian. Well, thanks so much for joining us this morning on the Sportscast to preview the Woodlawn Cardinals. We look forward to seeing your team play again this year and look forward to the competition among all the teams there in the Midland Trail Conference, and wish you luck here as you take over the head coaching reins from Shane Witzel, and what a great career that Coach Witzel had, and it was always a joy to have him on the show, and we look forward to visiting with you several times throughout the season as well, all right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Okay, Brian, have a great weekend, okay?
All right, you too.
All righty, bye-bye. That's head coach Brian Gamber of the Woodlawn Cardinals. Again, they've got another week to prepare before they do battle in that Carlisle Invitational Tournament, and man, that's a loaded tournament, as you heard him say. You got, Pinckneyville and Carlisle and Greenville and other teams in that tournament. So it's going to be a great measuring stick for them, certainly, heading into the season. They lost a lot from graduation. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Lost a lot of talent off that team that went to Peoria last year and finished in the Final Four at the state tournament. But, winning's kind of a tradition there at Woodlawn, and they just seem to reload each and every year, and they'll be looking to try to do that again this year with Coach Brian Gamber. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about the Wayne City Indians. Don Kipper, head coach of the Indians, will join us next on the Sports Couch. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Hi, this is Ashley DeVoy with the Fairfield Banking Company. We've been strongly rooted in this area since 1892. Our foundation is strong and we offer a unique checking account for customers 50 and older. It's called the 1892 Founders Club Checking, and it puts your money to work with interest paid on balances of $1,000 or more. You've worked hard to build a strong financial foundation for yourself, and now it's time to reap the rewards, including free checks and paper statements. Learn more about the 1892 Founders Club Checking Account, available at the Fairfield Banking Company, 915 Commerce Drive, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Fairfield Memorial Hospital Urgent Care now provides convenient treatment for minor illnesses and conditions on a walk-in basis 7 days a week in the Medical Arts Complex, Suite E. This is Physician Assistant James Hopper, and on behalf of the Urgent Care team, we are here for you when your family needs urgent medical attention. Urgent Care will allow you a more affordable and efficient alternative to an emergency room visit. We are open Monday through Friday, 8 until 8, and Saturday and Sunday, 8 until 5, in the Fairfield Memorial Hospital Medical Arts Complex, Suite E.
And welcome back to the Sports Couch. You're live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites at AreaSports.net, where we have live video streaming. Also, live audio streaming on WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio. Danny not with us this morning. He'll rejoin us next week. We are previewing several area basketball teams this morning, both boys and girls teams. In fact, we're talking to 7 different coaches this morning. And still to come in the show, we're going to be talking with Brad Beatty of the Weber Township Trojans and also Scott McElravy of the Fairfield Mules, yet to come in the show. But right now, we want to preview and focus on the Wayne City Indians and head coach Don Kipper. Good morning, Don. How are you?
Morning, Randy. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Good to have you on the Sports Couch, and I'm sure your practice is going busy and going well for your team so far. Tell us how things are shaping up for your Indians this year.
We're looking pretty good in practice. We got a big core back from last year, so we're just kind of looking to improve everything from what we did last season. Got the leading score back and our second leading score back and our third leading score back. So, just trying to put together a little bit better season than what we did last year.
And you got a brand new, beautiful facility to play in this year, too, and I know that's exciting for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it was great for the town. Great facility. All the bells and whistles. You think you might not need some, but it's just nice to have, and it's a great venue. And I don't know if anybody will have a better site than us. So it's great. A little adjustment for the kids getting in there, but just a great facility.
Well, I've got a team picture of your squad on the screen right now for those people who are watching the live video stream on AreaSports.net. Looks like the kids are having a lot of fun. They're posing for that picture.
Yep.
And
a little loose, but we're kind of trying to keep it serious.
Hey, that's all right. You got to be a little bit loose, too. You got to have fun, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, but anyway, run through the roster for us, if you would, right now, and preview your Indians team a little bit.
Eric Green's coming back. He shot 46% from behind the three-point line last season. We'll rely heavily on him. He really picked up his defensive effort towards the end of last season, so he wound up starting the last 10 games for us. So he's back. We've got Clayton Tubbs. He was the second leading scorer, and he shot 67% from the floor last year. Great guy, works hard in the post, and he's able to get to the basket. We bring back Chad Dickey. They relied a lot on him as a sophomore. He split minutes last year with Taylor Owens, so he'll have a much bigger role this year for us. Then we've got Jackson King, who'll be the point guard. He was a super sophomore last year. Really steadied us at the position out there. When Nick Downen had to come out, Jackson did a great job. But Jackson probably has the most minutes of anybody coming back. And then at 5, 6, and 7, we've got some additions we can go with. Jordan Greenwald will probably fill out the starting role. He started the bulk of the games last year for us until Eric took over for him. Then we've got Landon Willett. He's dropped 20-some pounds in the off season. He's been really, really nice, showing that he can put the ball in the basket. Nate Cottle off the bench is going to be a phenomenal defender for us. He's a great three-point shooter, pretty much just a set shooter, but a nice guy that you can put out there on the floor and stick in a corner and knock some shots down. And we missed Remington Henson last year, another big man. He's a 6'4" junior. He missed a lot last season with a sprained ankle, so he'll fill in for some big man minutes on the inside if we need it too. So all those guys are going to contribute. It should be fun. We'll be very deep like we were last year again, so it'll be exciting.
Well, you just mentioned the key word, deep, and as I look at your roster and look at those guys coming back and even look at the size that you have, yeah, you've got size, you've got depth, you've got speed. I mean, your Indians are going to be tough to contend with this year.
We do. We hope so. We're trying to keep them all honed in. I think you got to play with a little bit of chip on your shoulder. Sometimes you got to earn it, but sometimes we play like we got a boulder on our shoulder. And we got to tell the kids, we haven't beat anybody yet, we haven't won nothing yet. Just kind of play within your system. But you mentioned it. We've got great speed. We've got athleticism. We've got size. We come back and a lot of kids grew. Eric Green grew a couple inches. That's really going to help him out. Chad Dickey grew a little bit. Remington Henson coming off the bench. So, yeah, we've got. I feel like we got quite a few tools. We play within the system, and I think we should have some success.
Well, I think the Midland Trail Conference is going to be about as competitive as it's ever been this year. I really do. I think up and down, it's going to be a war this year in the conference. I mean, you're looking at what Weber's bringing back, and you look at Sisney and North Clay, and then of course, even though Woodlawn's got a new coach, I mean, they're always good with that winning tradition there. So, don't you agree that the Midland Trail is just going to be really, really brutal this year, really tough?
Yeah, and I mean, it's brutal every year. It's so tough to win no matter where you go on the road. It's like you said, usually you've had Woodlawn and then everybody else kind of fights for second and third, I'm still an old school believer, somebody's got to beat, Woodlawn, till you can claim that they're not the kings of the conference anymore. But, Waltonville had a couple transfers. Woodlawn's always going to be good. Weber just loses hammer, that'll hurt them a little bit, but Neal's one of the better players we'll see all year. Sisney brings a Meyer back, so they'll have some stuff. It's like what you said. It's just we got to go to all those places on the road. We got to play at Waltonville. We got to play at Woodlawn. We got to play at Weber. We had all those teams at home last year, so even a little more gauntlet for us. But hopefully we'll be up to the task.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us where you open your season at, and give people a chance to where they can see you play.
We're at Christopher. We open up at their turkey tournament. We play on Tuesday. We play the late game, 7:45. We open up against Ziegler Royalton. So We get them, they dropped out of our Christmas tournament because they had to add Edwards County, I think, to the Black Diamond, so they had to drop a tournament to accommodate for 2 games. So we don't see them anymore, so it's nice that we get them and won't see. And then we'll play again on Friday, win or lose, and then we'll play Saturday, win or lose. So that's what we're looking at.
Yeah, and I think you got to like your chances down there at that tournament, don't you?
That at first I was, trying not to jump the gun, and I don't want any bulletin board material for anybody, but, I kind of thought that, sitting there, last year, everything was new to everybody, and we only lost 3 games by double digits. Every other game we played, that we lost was all single digits, so they were all winnable games. And with what we bring back this year and a little bit of experience they'll have in the system, I don't, Christopher, they lost a little bit with some seniors, and Waltonville, we'll see what they have. But yeah, I think that's a crapshoot. I talked to the Christopher coach, and he said us, Weber and Waltonville and them, are probably, a roll of the dice on who's gonna play for the championship. So, hopefully we'll have some luck and get there.
Yeah, I think you're going to be competitive down there, and I think you can make some noise down there. So we want to wish you luck as you prepare for that Christopher tournament. Again, you play Tuesday night. And thanks so much for your time this morning on the Sports Couch. We look forward to seeing Wayne City Indians basketball this year. Okay?
Hey, I appreciate it, Randy.
Okay, Don, have a good weekend, all right?
All right, you too. Happy Thanksgiving.
You bet. Bye-bye. It's Don Kipper, head basketball coach of the Wayne City Indians, and again, they are preparing to do battle there at the Christopher Thanksgiving tournament. And again, they've got a lot of players back from last year. They really do, and they've got size, they got speed, they got athleticism. They are going to be something to a force to deal with this year in the Midland Trail Conference. Well, stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to talk to Coach Scott McElravy of the Fairfield Mules. That's coming up next on the Sports Couch.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Real Life Radio thanks Fairfield Printing and Graphics for their partnership in local Christian radio ministry. Fairfield Printing and Graphics offers custom sizing for banners and signs, as well as yard signs, corrugated signs, and metal signs. Fairfield Printing and Graphics also specializes in custom t-shirts, business cards, wedding invitations, hats, bags, and much more. They are located at number 5 Williamson Drive in Fairfield, and their phone number is 842-4048.
As a financial advisor, John Reynolds is well versed in the best practices of financial planning. But as a local, raised in Wayne County, he's more than experienced with the unique challenges you face every day. After growing up here, he's now returned, investing back into the community that contributed to his success, passionate and committed to helping you with yours. FNB Asset Management. We're here to help.
And welcome back to the Sports Couch. You're live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. Live video streaming at AreaSports.net, live audio streaming at WVYN.org. Talking about the Black Diamond Conference right now, and of course we've got to talk about the Fairfield Mules. They'll be beginning their season next week as they'll be at that Lawrence County Classic, as they usually start the season up there. And with us right now is the head coach of the Mules, and that is Scott McElravy. Good morning, Scott. How are you today?
Hey, good morning, Randy.
Good to have you on the Sports Couch, and can you believe it's already basketball season again? Boy, it comes around quickly, doesn't it?
I tell you what, when school starts and football season gets underway, it seems like the weeks just go faster and faster, and I look up and it's week 9, and I've got 2 weeks to get ready for basketball.
Yeah, you mentioned 2 weeks, and you're in the same boat as all the other coaches. You kind of scramble around and try to get things together and put as much stuff in as you can before that first game, but it's always a challenge this time of year, isn't it?
It is, and we've got kind of a younger group, a little more inexperienced group this year, so we may not have quite as much in at the Capital Classic as we do in some years, but that's okay.
Yeah, you mentioned you got some younger players. You've also got some size to go along with that youth. So talk about your roster a little bit and what you're seeing so far during your practice sessions.
Well, we have four senior guards, and Macklin Snyder and Brant McGill, they're both returning starters. And then we've also got Caleb Smothers, who figures in. That's probably a starter this year, too, and Gage McGahey will probably come off the bench for us. Since they're all 4 guards, we need some post players, and so those come around with the junior class. Jaden Lewis is back with us. He's about 6'4", junior. Kobe Daggs is 6'3", junior. Those two will be in the post for us a lot this year. And then we've got Jamin Vaughn and Andrew Stewart as 2 other guards. So those are our top 4. We just got 4 juniors and 4 seniors. And then we've got some more size, thankfully, coming, and some good players, we think, in the sophomore group as well that are really pushing the juniors and seniors.
Yeah, that's great. Well, having 6'4" and 6'3" that you can run in and out in the post will certainly be a help for you because, you got to have some size. Size is one thing you can't coach. You either got it or you don't.
You do. My son played in 8th grade the other day. We played T-Town, and they already had 2 kids close to 6'3", so
yeah, what do they
to work out pretty well for them there.
Yeah, what do they feed those guys up there? I can't figure that out. Something in the
really
genes.
Tall moms. It's not just all dads; they have tall moms too.
Yeah, and you'll have those guys to look forward to in a few years, won't you? Those guys you saw from T-Town the other night in 8th grade.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That's always our first tournament is just really, really good. I feel like this year there's 3 state-ranked teams there. One of them we played right off the bat, Marshall. Speaking of size, their point guard 6'2". He's one of the shorter ones on the starting group, and he's got a full ride to USI. And on the other side, Mount Carmel and Teton, I think, are also top 15, top 10 teams as well. So really, really tough way to start the year. But we like it. It's a good tournament. They treat us really well, and we get to see teams that we don't normally see.
Yeah, you've been going to that Capital Classic for a long time, and not only do you and your players and staff like it, I think the fans like that tournament too.
It's this year when you look at it, Salem and Red Hill are on our schedule. Lawrenceville and Mount Carmel are to the side. So we've got quite a few old NEC rival teams there. We're missing Carmi and Flora. But that's kind of a neat thing,
Yeah.
But it's really tough. Our record up there is not great. A couple years ago, I think when we had Lackey and Giffords junior year, we got 3rd. But when you finish in the top 4 there, you've done something. I really think there could be a team, and it could probably be any of those 3 that could be playing in Peoria.
Yeah, and after you finish that week up there at the Capital Classic in Lawrence County, you kind of know where you stand. I mean, you've learned a lot about your team. You'll have a bit of a measuring stick so that you'll know what to work on moving forward.
We do, and sometimes it's after more losses than wins. A lot of times it's that way. But, like I said, after a couple of weeks in practice, you're tired of playing each other.
Right.
So it's time to get out and go. And there's not a lot of other options for us, I mean, a lot of the other tournaments around are a farther drive, and then there's more conference teams there and some of them too. So, yeah, we like it there.
So for those fans who want to make the trip up there, tell us the time and date of your first couple of games up there at Lawrence County.
We are Black Friday players. I kind of joke around. I've never been a Black Friday shopper because I've always been playing basketball on that day. We're on the Red Hill side, along with Marshall, Salem, and the host school. The other side at Lawrenceville is the host school, Mount Carmel. Who am I missing? T-Town.
T-Town, yeah.
And Olney. I forgot about them. They're another NEC school there, too. So we play the second game on Friday, I think at 12:30, I believe. So it's going to be fun.
So do they split those games still between Lawrenceville and Red Hill High School?
Yes, they
both
do.
gyms?
Yeah, everybody on our side, we play all 3 of our preliminary games at Red Hill, and then they take turns with crossover in the evening. So I believe the crossover games on the second day, that 4th game that you get where they match you up against a similar record team on the other side, will be back at Lawrenceville. Last year was at Red Hill, so I'm assuming that's where it's going to be this year.
Yeah, okay. Well, one more thing we'll ask you here before we run out of time. Let's jump ahead and look at the Black Diamond Conference this year, and how do you think that the conference shapes up as you look at the teams up and down, including a new addition with the Edwards County Lions?
Yeah, we're excited to have them. Russ does a very good job. That's a 15-minute drive for us in comparison to an hour and 45 to Vienna.
Yeah.
So that's a huge turnaround for us. I think they're going to be very competitive. I think they're going to be towards the top. I think we have a good chance at that. I think El Dorado does too. But yet then you start looking around. Carmine lost quite a few, but they had a really good JV team and a few players back, 2 starters back, I believe. So they'll be right there. Amco is better this year. They were definitely more athletic and a better team this summer when we watched them play. Played them, actually. And Johnson City has some of their best kids back, too. So I think as a whole, the conference top to bottom is better than what it's been. I think there's going to be a couple teams that could be close to 20 wins when they get to the end of the year. And I also think that, there's been years where the 5th and 6th place team doesn't have a chance to beat the number 1 team. I really think that's a possibility this year. So whoever wins at the end is definitely going to have earned it. And there could be a possibility for a tie as well just because of the parity. But I like the way we do it. You have to go home and away. So that way, it's not, if you have 2 good teams playing one year, you have to go to their place and they don't have to come back to yours. So
yeah.
We like the way that sets up.
Yeah, and you're right. That drive to Edwards County would be a lot shorter than that drive to Vienna. Wow.
I love the scenery and whatnot down there. The people are really nice. Of course, the scenery doesn't mean much when you're going through the dark.
Yeah.
But 15 minutes on a bus ride. We get out of school at 3, and typically to get down there on Friday would leave at 3:10.
Wow.
3:20. So that makes it tough.
Yeah, sure does.
And it helped them too with the travel because they move over to the other side.
Sure.
Goreville's 10 minutes from them, and they have a lot closer travels as well.
Sure.
So it worked out for everybody.
Yeah. And then later on in the year, you'll participate again in the El Dorado Holiday Tournament, right?
Love that one. I believe there's a couple new additions
Yes.
this year too.
Yes, there is.
County's going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe Heron as well.
I
Not
think
quite for sure.
I think you're right. They were tossing that around. I think they did get in. Yes.
Yeah. So anywhere from good 1A teams to Heron's a 3A team. Harrisburg bumped back down to 2A, but they're right there on the fence. So that's always a great tournament. If you've never been, I would always suggest to go on that last night.
Mm-hmm.
Those last 2 or 3 games, the place is packed. People are standing around the top. It's a really neat place to play, and that's always another goal for us too. We'd love to play in one of those last 3 games.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be fun, and it all kicks off next week. So, Coach, we appreciate your time and joining us today on the Sports Couch, and best of luck as your Mules prepare to enter this new basketball season. All right?
Hey, thank you, Randy.
Have a great weekend, all right?
All right, you too, Steve.
Okay, bye-bye. That is head coach Scott McElravy of the Fairfield Mules joining us this morning on the Sports Couch, previewing his Mules. And again, they'll be in that Capital Classic up there at Lawrence County, and they'll split games both in the Red Hill Gym and the Lawrenceville Gym. And definitely a loaded tournament up there with Pinckneyville and Teotopolis, and then a number of teams from the old NEC that'll be meeting up there at the Lawrence County Classic. All right, one more coach to go here on our preview show this morning on the Sports Couch. We want to talk about the Weber Township Trojans right now, and joining us on the phone is head coach Brad Beatty. Good morning, Brad. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Randy. How are you doing?
Good. Great to have you on the Sports Couch, and an exciting time of year for you as well, because a lot to look forward to this year with your Trojans and players that you've got coming back, and I think it's going to be an exciting season for fans of Weber Township Trojans basketball.
Yeah, we're definitely excited. I mean, guys are looking forward to the opportunity to build on our season from last year, and you could tell by the summer that they had. They dedicated themselves to the weight room and got inside the gym and got extra shots up, and so that you could tell from a maturity standpoint that they light had finally went off on them, and they got it. So we're practicing right now, and we're putting the final touches on it, and we're ready to go.
You hit on something very important right there, and that's that work during the summertime. Because in order to be successful, and if you take a look at the programs up and down the state that, are perennial powerhouses and have success year after year, those are teams that also work on their game in the summertime, and they do so much on those contact days in the summer, and it sounds like you've done that as well this year at Weber.
Yeah, I think the summer's where you build it. And it's tough for a coach. Because you want them to have their summer, but yet you know in order to have the success that you're looking for, there has to be some work put in. And so when your kids are anxious and hungry to get in there and do it, it makes it easier as a coach. And I always tell them, hey, have a fun summer, do your thing, but also don't forget, hey, what our goal is. And these guys right here, they've been great in that aspect.
Well, you enjoyed some success last year, and I think when they had their appetite whetted a little bit last year, they wanted more. And it sounds like that's why they're coming back and working so hard this year.
They going into the season, our freshmen became sophomores, and we knew the talent, that we had some talent, but we wasn't sure if they were just quite ready to reach that level. And once we seen once we put some things together, what we could do, I think the light, like I said, the light went off for them, and we started putting things together. Now they're just hungry and they're ready to reach some goals that they set. And it's, like I told them, I said, hey, reach some high goals, see what we can do. So we're definitely hungry and headed to Christopher. And that, it's going to be a tough tournament down there. I think we're a very good team, but it's quite possible we could leave Christopher at 1-2 and still be a really good team. It's just some good teams down there, and it'll be some good competition.
Yeah, you're going to have Wayne City down there, of course. You got Christopher down there, and yeah, you're right. Some good competition to start off the season there at that tournament.
Yeah, well, Waltonville's had a couple of kids move in.
Right.
Wayne City's loaded. I mean, this is the team that they've been waiting on for a few years, and Coach has done a great job. Everybody says, well, Christopher's lost a lot of kids at graduation. Bradley Young, I don't know if anybody's seen him play, but anytime Bradley Young's on your team, you're going to compete for a championship. So it'll be tough. North City's a team that nobody better look over. And we played Thompsonville first game. Thompsonville is a lot like we were a year or two ago. A lot of young talent. I know coaches down there looking forward to a couple of years for them, but they're a team that's going to be dangerous.
Well, I want to give you a chance to run through your roster right now, Brad. Talk about the players on your team, your starters, and then the key guys that come off the bench, if you would.
Yeah, Jackson Helm, he's a senior. Seems like he's been with us for about 8 years, but he's a kid that started varsity as his first game freshman year. Threw him in there. Like I always said, it probably wasn't real fair to him, but he accepted the challenge, and so now he's a senior. He's really, really developed that leadership skill that I was looking forward to. Charles Neal, about a 6'4" junior. He's going to hit the 1,000-point club this year. He's long, athletic, can play post, can play guard, just about anywhere you need him on the floor. Dylan Stratton's, he'll be an off-guard for us, can handle the basketball. Great assist guy, but yet if you need scoring, he can pick up that scoring part. Dalton Hart's a 6'1" kid. We're going to ask him to play the post, undersized a little bit. Primarily played on the JV team, but he's accepted his role, and I don't think he'll miss anything as far as competing on the varsity level. We added a transfer this year, Marquise Davis, 6'2", long, athletic kid. He's probably going to end up playing down in the post. Garrett Thompson, about a 5'10" shooter, a good energy kid to bring off the bench. So that's pretty well the kids. Oh, Brody Mount. Don't want to forget Brody. If you ever heard this and I forgot him, he'd never let me forget it. Brody's a kid that, when I talk about going to the weight room, this kid has probably put on 20 pounds of muscle.
Wow.
Developed his game. He played at Summersville there. I'm sure you remember him.
Oh, yeah.
He's a kid that I think that he could set himself up for a pretty good junior season, and we're expecting big things out of him. But that's pretty well the kids that'll play for us.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And let's look at the conference this year, the Midland Trail Conference. I think it's going to be extremely competitive this year. What do you think?
It will be. There's probably 6 teams that I looked at that could end up winning the thing. Waltonville, like I said, they've added 2 kids in. They're going to be extremely good. Wayne City's loaded. Wayne City can make a deep run. Sisney's a team that, you never overlook Sisney over there. Coach Ellis does a great job of that program. They got some kids that's got some varsity minutes, and everybody says, well, Coach Whistle's gone from Woodlawn, but they have hired a guy that, that I had the opportunity to coach a couple of years in Mount Vernon with, and Coach Gamber. They're not going to miss a step. Coach Gamber's a good coach. They've done well in getting him over there. Those kids are going to do well underneath him. So Woodlawn's going to be Woodlawn. They'll be a challenge, especially by the end of the year. Grayville's another squad that I think that's going to sneak up on some people. So conference should be a good season this year.
Yeah. Have you added anybody different to your schedule this year, or any different wrinkles in the Weber schedule this year?
We had a couple openings, and we did try a couple schools, but we could never really find a date and settle in. So we did add a ZR for an extra game.
Mm-hmm.
So Coach Morgan was able to help us out on that. But it's tough. Kind of a situation if you try to go after a 2A or 3A school and they know you got a little talent, they're a little hesitant to take that game on. And I understand that, but we definitely did make a try on that. So we did finally get our games situated, but schedule's pretty well the same as it was last year.
Okay, and you'll be in the Conrad Allen tournament again in Wayne City?
That will be different. Brand new gym. So I'm anxious to get over there. I know our girls played over there a couple nights ago, and they come back saying how nice it was. So we're anxious to get over there and see the new gym and the new facilities, and it's always a great tournament.
Yeah. And when is the first home game for your Weber Trojans?
I believe it's December the 2nd is when we tip off here at home, and I think it's against ZR.
Okay.
So we'll have an opportunity to see them down at Christopher, but we're looking forward to it.
All right. Well, Brad, we appreciate your time this morning on the Sports Couch, and it's going to be fun following Weber Township Trojans basketball this year, and we want to wish you best of luck next week as you prepare to do battle down at that Christopher Thanksgiving tournament, all right?
We appreciate it, Randy.
Okay, have a good weekend, all right?
Same to you.
Bye-bye. That is Coach Brad Beatty of the Weber Township Trojans. Again, they got a lot of guys coming back off a team that had some success last year. They were very, very young last year. Now, this is a group of guys that had tremendous success as 8th graders. They were down at the state tournament in 8th grade, and of course, got some size, got some speed. They've even had a transfer move-in come in. They've got the ingredients to be a special team this year. Same can be said for Wayne City, And again, Waltonville with their 2 move-ins, their 2 transfers, makes it kind of interesting. And again, you certainly can't overlook Woodlawn, you can't overlook Sisney, and you can't overlook Grayville, and you can't overlook North Clay. I mean, it's just it's going to be a wild season this year in the Midland Trail Conference, and it's going to be very, very competitive indeed, and it's going to be fun to follow it this year. Of course, you can always check scores and other information all the time on our sports website at AreaSports.net. We encourage you to go to that website on a daily basis for high school scores, both boys and girls, as well as junior high scores, both boys and girls. We'll be streaming some games this year, and of course, we'll always have the Sports Couch each and every Saturday morning right here from 8:30 until 10. It's 90 minutes of great local sports talk. And that's it for our show for today. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back next week. Have yourself a great weekend, and happy Thanksgiving. So long, everyone.
This is your home for best Christian music.
WVYN, Blueford, Wayne City, Fairfield, Mount Vernon.
And now on Translator, W288CO Centralia, broadcasting at 105.5.
A service of Real Life Radio Foundation.
The best Christian music.